But we have this here, and it has to do, again, Phil Spencer said the future of Xbox is really going to be mobile, right? So Call of Duty Mobile and all of the stuff from King, and that's what Xbox, I think, is keying in on with the Activision Blizzard acquisition. And a lot of people like to compare PlayStation, like to compare Call of Duty, like to pretend like that is the main thing they're trying to do here, which is stomp out PlayStation, which is definitely not the case. The main thing they're trying to do here is grow their mobile side, because everyone has a phone in their hands and they can just get into the homes of way more people if they build the mobile side of things. So this was, again, Phil Spencer's media tour, I like to call it, as he had an interview with the Wall Street Journal late last week, I believe. And he says this about mobile. He says, the thing that made us really interested in Activision Blizzard King is the great work the teams have done to build such large mobile followings. A lot of that with the King studio that they have with Candy Crush franchise, but also if you look at the Call of Duty Mobile, which to me is a strategic rationale of this deal, is more interesting than what's happening on console between Xbox and PlayStation. Now, you could argue maybe he's saying this because there's such a deep investigation from the CMA that he's trying to take the heat off of people focusing on Xbox versus PlayStation. But I think this is the main reason why they did this acquisition. I believe what Phil Spencer is saying here, it's the mobile side of things. You look at the amount of money within mobile and how Xbox is going to be able to utilize things like Diablo Immortal, Call of Duty Mobile, Candy Crush, and whatever mobile games, I don't know them all, that are within Activision Blizzard. It's going to really expand out their business, and it will help subsidize making more money to get more games into Xbox Game Pass. We heard 10 to 15% of the software and sales content side of Xbox is Xbox Game Pass. We know it is profitable. And in order to continue to grow that service, they're going to have to make money in all of the other assets. And hey, they mentioned about price increases. Maybe that is for consoles in 2023. Maybe that is for increasing the price of first-party games up to the $70 mark and matching what PlayStation is doing. Who knows? But maybe at the same time, if they're able to make more money in all these different revenue streams, Xbox Game Pass stays the same price. That'll be interesting to see. I think they're going to raise the price of Game Pass at some point. I think that's inevitable. You look at the stuff within there, especially once all of the Activision Blizzard game comes in. We are being given so much value and for such little cost that I think most people, they can gauge how consumers feel about this. Nobody wants to see a price range, but I think most consumers will be okay with a price increase for Xbox Game Pass if more content keeps coming in, more value keeps being given to us. So that's what their focus is on for this deal. And they just go over some numbers here. And they say Activision says they made 82% of its 2021 revenues from 3 franchises, Call of Duty, Candy Crush, and Warcraft, which amounts to a staggering $7.22 billion. Just absolutely crazy. And Call of Duty Mobile made over 1.5 billion or earned 1.5 billion since 2019. Just crazy, right? All of that money Xbox, if this deal goes through, is going to be getting, which they're going to be able to further invest into Xbox and into Xbox Game Pass. Now, when it comes to the Activision Blizzard deal, we know CMA is investigating it. Still has to go through the EU, still has to go through the FTC. But we got an update as to, this was tweeted out today here at October 31st, Halloween. We got an update of where the CMA is on the Activision Blizzard deal. And their update is that their investigation into the Microsoft and Activision Blizzard merger, the deadline for response to the issue statement has now passed, and they'll now consider the views and evidence submitted as we continue our investigation. So we know they put out a call to Xbox gamers, PlayStation gamers, video game industry enthusiasts as to what they thought about this deal. And a lot of people wrote letters to the CMA expressing what they wanted, I guess, for this deal, whether they wanted it to go through, whether they thought it was good, whether they thought it was bad for the video game industry. It's all concluded now. They're going to be looking into this. Now, who knows what's going to come out of this, but we're getting closer to the decision time for the CMA. I believe they have set a date. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on this, but I believe it was for sometime in November for them to make a decision as to what they're going to be doing in phase 2. So it could be coming soon. And the confidence right now is, I don't know, it's up in the air. I think, well, Phil Spencer and Microsoft think that there's no issues. I mean, they're going to be confident in their thoughts on this deal going through. I mean, that you have to be. If you're an outsider like myself, absolutely no idea what's going to happen at this point. No idea if it's going to go through, if it isn't going to go through, if they're going to put a restriction on it, what's going to happen. But hey, from what my video I put out this afternoon, the scrutiny on from Xbox's perspective is very warranted for a $70 billion acquisition. It does make a ton of sense. $70 billion, you're going to have these market authorities looking deeply into what is going on. Again, the thing is, the stuff that they are looking at are complaints from PlayStation, which, if you know anything about the video game industry, their complaints are extremely hypocritical. We've seen what they've been doing just recently with Call of Duty, with the exclusive stuff, and with one of the worst things, I think, is the crossplay toggle. Like, why is that a thing? That a crossplay toggle is available on the PlayStation version of the game, but not available on the PC and the Xbox version of the game. It's just crazy to me. Just crazy to me. Oh, I have a comment here. So CMA deadline was March the 1st. Okay, so yeah, maybe it was a different, maybe it was the EU or something where they had to come up with their first decision. I'm not sure. There was a decision in November for one of these market authorities, but I guess with Jacob Novik is saying here, the CMA deadline was March 1st. So unless that's 1th, maybe you meant the 11th. I don't know, but it could be March. Anyways, that makes a ton of sense because they're expecting this deal to close sometime in the first quarter of 2023. So they're going to look at all that stuff. They're going to do their investigation, and we will see what happens with it.
We'll be right back.